Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and welcome to my Card Making Wednesday. So we have an amazing set of 3 cards we are going to make using 3 different ways of making Peekaboo circle cards. Let me say it again. We're going to make 3 different Peekaboo cards with circle dies. There are 3 different techniques and they're a ton of fun. So welcome to the show and let's get started. So here they are. They are so stinking adorable. They're very, very easy. And the best part is that you don't need any super complicated items, and every one of these can be something that you can mass produce. So this first one here is just using circles, and then the peekaboo part is a little piece that you punch out of there or die cut out of there, keeping it very simple and streamlined. Can you tell there's a craft theme going on with this one too? The second card, we're going to do some inlaying with circles. So here we have some blended circles that we're going to be playing around with. So the peekaboo part is the fact that we're going into this circle part and having some fun. And the last one is a little peekaboo circle, because when you open it up, that is actually on the inside of the card. All right, so let's start with this one first. So this one is super adorable. All my little supplies over here that we can get going. So I actually used a punch and I used a few different dies to get everything going. Got all my little bits and pieces here. So the first thing I did is I punched out a bunch of circles. So these circles actually came from one of my dies that has, we're using it here in a minute on the other card. But basically I wanted to have 2 circles that were not, that you could use nesting circles, but I chose to use 2 circles that were a little bit too closer together. So I actually used a die and then my punch. So this is just a circle punch that I've had for a very, very long time. You can still get some traction on that. So I picked a really pretty patterned paper. So here's our 3 circles. And then this one I punched with the blue paper right here. All of these papers came from TLC Designs. This is a Crafty and Sweet collection. And here you can see I used the plaid, and then this is the blue that came with it. It's really, really cute. So we are going to die cut out, and here's a cutie little one. And the shape that you die cut out on this could be anything. That's the beauty of it. It does not have to be a heart. You could do a star, you could do a circle, you could do, pick your favorite. It doesn't matter. You also, instead of a die, you could also do another punch, because this is so small. You could get away with that. So I'm just going to basically, I want to have, this has got like little lines on this paper. It may not be super obvious. So I'm going to put my little die there, and I already have some paper or some washi tape. So I'm going to put the punch away. And this little heart die, it actually comes with 3 of them. And this one comes from Loving Petal Square. I love it because when I die cut it out, I actually end up getting 2 other little hearts that we're going to use on the rest of the card. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. So let's go ahead and die cut this out. Get all my little plates here. Don't worry, I'm not going to take you and die cut everything with you today. Most of the stuff, I think this is the only thing I'm actually die cutting with you. Everything else I already did. There we go. And put that off to the side. Still need to get the WD-40 on that thing because it is squeaky McSqueakerson, I swear. It is bad. All right, so pull that off. And now you've got a little spot. So this is our little peekaboo. So this is nice and small. And let's pop these little guys out of here because I need the little hearts. There we go. Boop, boop. There we go. Come on, pop out. Oh, it already came out. There it is. Little guy, it's already right there. All right, so now before we go too much further, I'll leave our little hearts right there because you can tell where they're coming from. We need to stamp. So I already have a hay. So think of all those little small stamps. So there's my hay. It came from this stamp set. This is the Easy Salutations, and it has a little hey, but smile, hello. Think of all those little fun stamps that you might have, those little individual words that might work on that. There's so many of them. Sky's the limit about what you could use. So I'm just using my black intense ink right now. Is the metal sheet to make it no, well, there is a magnetic sheet. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Debbie. But the metal sheet that I'm using on that die is just a metal die. So what it does is anytime you have a die that goes through that on a die itself, it's got like a little ridge on the die, and the metal sheet just gives it more of a tooth to cut against. Because I don't know how many of you guys, and whenever you have plastic, especially if you put it right in the plastic, what happens is the plastic starts getting tons and tons and tons of notches and stuff inside of it, and it becomes like you could end up breaking this. So you can tell all the brunt of the work is getting put onto the metal die here, and so it creates kind of a resist for your metal, for whatever paper you're cutting. Plus, I can do it on felt. There's so many things that I can die cut because I have this little metal shim that I'm cutting against. Good question. I love questions. Thank you so much. And I'm going to put this on a different magnetic paper that I have right off to the side because I don't want to lose it. So now that we've done that, and then again, I die cut out 3 pieces of the pattern paper, super cute pattern paper. Now it's time to build. So I know I did a lot of pre-cutting ahead of time, but just save some time so you guys can really see how to build the card. So I love to mat. So first of all is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach that piece there to the back. A little bit of some tape runner. I just love the look of mats. I think they're so pretty, but I don't want to add the white sheet. You could completely get away with not doing a mat here. Does TLC sell those? Sell the shims? No, this part right here is coming from a company called, it's from the Mini Maker. It comes with the Mini Maker, and this is from Maker's Movement. TLC Designs, the papers are from TLC Designs, the dies and the stamps that we're using today. So hopefully that helps. So I'm going to hold off on putting my paper on there, and instead we're going to build our circles. So I want to have one circle there. I have one circle here, and I'm just lining them up. And I got a little pen mark on this one, so I'm going to cut that part off because we're going to end up having them kind of off-centered here. So we're going to cut them down. So we're just going to line these up. And you could have ones that's like, so notice I made them kind of symmetrical. For this one, I think I'm going to go a little bit less symmetrical. So this circle is a lot more noticeable than that circle. A little bit more like that. There we go. We'll do it that way. So I'm just going to pick each one of these up. Line them down. And again, you don't have to do circles for this. You could do hearts, stars, ovals, squares. There's so many fun shapes that you could do with this. I just find circles are kind of fun because it's an alternate shape against the square of the card. Your die cut company will probably make a metal shim. Oh, there you go. There you go. Most die cut companies probably have a metal shim. Good point. Good point. And then the last little one is going to go right there. All right, so just line them all up. So here we go. And then I flip this over, and of course I put my scissors in the drawer, so I got to get my scissors back out. And then just get your trusty scissors. I always like doing it from the back side versus the front side because I don't want to, I don't know, I just find it easier to cut from the back. I'm less likely to cut into the actual card because I can see the line of the card, whereas this way I'm kind of cutting blind. So I always flip it over. We're going to do this a couple of different times where we're going to kind of trim it up. So there is that. And then you have to decide, do you want your card to lay the direction like this? You could also line it up so they go down the center. You could line it up so they're on the right side. You could also line it up so it's on the left side. So many ways to play around with the direction of where your circles or your stars or your, whatever shape it is that you want to have there, right? So I'm going to keep it the same. I'm going to do it on the left and go ahead and glue this down. So if you did not want to do a mat like I did a craft mat to kind of tie in with the colors, just open up your card, flip it over, and then cut on your card that way because you would have it line up. So you might get away with doing actually one more circle. So you could do 4 circles. And depending on the size of your object, like I can fit 3 on here comfortably. You might be able to fit 5 on there if they're small, just it kind of depends. So now I have my little hay, and you can either choose to pop it up like I did here. So here's that little hay right there. And here's the two little hearts that we're going to add to this in a minute. So I want to pop it up. I love the look of it being popped up. So I got to find my pop dots, which I stuck somewhere on the desk. And now I don't know where I put them. I had them. I swear. They're in a drawer that's just vanished. Oh, no, they're on my desk. There they are. Ta-da. Hello, Karen. Hello, everybody who is on. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to take a few little pop dots, whatever you have on hand. I love to use the entire thing. I don't waste any of it. So I'll even pull this and then tear it apart and use them as well. I don't know about you guys, but I love doing that. So here's a few pop dots. Pull them off. Stamp first before you pop this up. You don't want to stamp after you've popped it because then your stamp won't be seen. And then if you really wanted to see, for instance, you wanted to have not that black line, just be careful when you're putting your circle down for the part that you've like punched out right there. Just be aware of what's behind it. So if that's the part that you don't like, just rotate your circle around. If you've got a pattern paper where it's kind of altered and changes a little bit. And then the last thing is since we have these two little cutie hearts to kind of match the whole thing, we're going to add the hearts back in here. So, and for this one, I'm just using a little bit of wet glue because they're so tiny. They're so, so tiny. So here we go. I'm going to have it kind of coming off the page a little bit. So just, you don't have to be in the circle. You can have it come off the page and you can line them up wherever you want. If you want to pop these up as well, whatever works. There we go. Let that guy go right there. That way you can see it. They kind of blend in a little bit on this card, but there you go. So this is the first one. So the peekaboo that you see on this card is a little heart that is on that card. I don't know what's over there. There we go. It's in the way. So it's a little peekaboo heart. So we have a circle theme going on, but the peekaboo is that little like, ooh, what's in there? And it's kind of like this little hidden gem kind of hiding in the center there. So it's kind of fun. So that is the first card we are doing today. Isn't that fast and easy? I love that one. Okay. Second card we are doing today is, where'd it go? There it is this one. I love this one. So this one is a series of 1, 2, 3 that we're actually cutting out of white paper. Again, we're keeping a little bit of a craft theme colorish going on. And we're going to do some blending. So what I did, here we go, is I've taken 3 circles. So I had 1 circle, 2 circle, and my third circle is from one of the dies from TLC Designs. It goes right here. So I just picked 3 different circle sizes. And what I did, seriously, is that this paper and this paper, I lined up together, taped them together, placed the circles, and just cut once. So I didn't have to cut multiple times. So let me pop these guys off. I tried to leave some of them on there, but I had to reuse this circle again. So I had to undo it. I wanted to show you guys. I didn't want to have to die cut it, but I wanted to show you how I lined it up. And I wanted some to be in place, but I also wanted some to be like off the page, right? So lots of little circles. You could also punch if you've got big enough punches, but I think dies are fun for this one. All right. So now what we need to do is we are going to blend. So I liked it, and I'm just going to mimic what I already have put together, is I have this, right? And then our little girl who's blowing bubbles because we've got circles, which is the bubble theme. And then we're going to add the splatters on there, which adds to the whole bubble theme. So the whole theme is blowing bubbles, right? So we're going to go along with that. I've got my little station here, as you can see, and there goes my clock. There's my die. It's not magnetic, but here we go. Let's put it off to the side there. Should get my magnetic things out. So what I'm doing is I'm placing my magnets here on my paper where I know I don't need the dye, or I know I don't need the ink, sorry, because we're only needing it where the circles are. And I'm going to match with the same colors I already have done. So basically I need to do this space, and this space. So I have 3 different colors of inks that I'm playing with. And this ties in with there is a challenge going on right now with TLC Designs. So let me pull that up real fast and show you guys. So the challenge is to use a TLC Designs, a digi. So there's lots of digi. Sorry, I'm like banging on my desk. Runs 30 days and it starts on the 15th. So it started yesterday. And you must use 1 TLC product to qualify. Now here you can see the color palette off to the side there. I did add a green. Whoopee. But you can see the color palette. So I kind of used the color palette as a launching point for this card. So it's kind of, except for the added addition of green, that's where the colors came from for this. So we've got my little blending pieces. So each one of mine has their own color. Oops, there's that one and that one. And I'm using mostly, kind of doing just 1 color in each circle. I did a little bit of some blending with the other colors there. So I'm just going to come in, go a little off because I don't want it to be too harsh, and then blend in. And if it goes into where another color is, I'm not worried. Try and do circles. It's hard because I don't have the corner pushed down. And I went nice, whoops, I went nice and dark. I need to put another magnet there. It's having a problem. It keeps pulling up. There we go. I'll come back and do that little corner. So really get in. Now I want to add a tiny bit. I love the look of that desert rose, and I'm using a combination. You don't have to use all of the same inks when you're doing color blending. You can really change it up. You don't have to be only one brand. They all work together so beautifully. So I'm just coming in with this desert rose, just adds a little bit of a darker color, kind of a hint. And then I might as well come in and blend over on this side, right into here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it with my template and go, okay, where am I at? How am I doing? Am I missing any colors? Like I've got a gap right there, right? I don't want to have a gap. I need another. So I just keep laying my overlay basically over top, make sure I'm not missing any parts, and then keep blending in. All right, so let's see where we're at now. There we go. So just there. So that looks pretty good. I can see it all. So that one's good. So all I have left now is the green, the avocado. There. These are magnetic too, which is kind of handy. So come in with my green, and it's about there. I'm kind of using that as a guide because I cut them exactly the same. I didn't change them. So here we go. Did I nail it? Did I get it? I think I got it. And you can still see some of the shading colors. Have fun with your colors on this. So you don't have to do dark, like you do pinks and blues. And I was keeping with the color scheme that they had with the challenge. That's where I went with that. Okay, so now to get our little bubbles, super simple, all of these inks. So this is, you have to look for water-based ink. That's the key thing, a water-based ink. And all these water-based ink, a lot of companies have water-based ink. So just keep in mind, this is not the ink that you would use if you were going to do coloring on top of it. Like if you were going to use it for, my mind is blank. If you were going to use your Copic markers or anything like that, you want to have something that is water-based. So this is just a little bit of water and a whatever paintbrush that I have, nothing special here, and just flick. It's like magic. It hits it, and then it starts doing the crazy. So to me, it looks like bubbles. So I always kind of like having a little bit of fun with some of my cards about, well, why is it on there? Why does it have that? I'm making sure I hit each of them, and look at it starting to like pop up and appear. The more you add, the more fun you can have with it. There's no wrong. There we go. You can do as much or as little as you want. Let it kind of dry. Hello, everybody who's gotten on. It's amazing what water can do. I would recommend clean water and not water that's got a color in it already, because that can mess up and add color back in, which I think I accidentally did that because this was not a very clean cup, as you can tell, and it was sitting, and I think I hit the bottom. So we've got some blue action happening. Oh, well. I'm just taking a little paper towel and I'm just patting on top just to make sure that there's nothing there. And again, we're putting our matte overlay on top. So any kind of little wonky bits might get covered up and completely. Isn't that cool? It almost looks like it's planets, but they're not. They're not planets. All right, move that off to the side. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So it looks really weird. You're like, oh, that looks so off. But it's just because we're only needing it where we need to have the circles. If you want to do the whole thing, by all means, go for it. You could even play around with blend the whole thing and then decide, do I want to have it like that? Do I want to have it like that? Do I want to have it like that? Like you could play with where the best placement is for that. All right, so next we have our little girl who's blowing bubbles. And this stamp set is, if I can find it, I had it. Here we go. It's a super, super, super cute stamp set. This one is Togs and Bubbles, and that little girl is blowing her bubbles. She is so adorable. Sorry, this glare is crazy. And that's so cute. I love that. And I'm sorry, I ran out of time. I didn't get a chance to fussy cut her out. So let me do a quickie fussy cut. I'm not worried about her legs because we're going to trim her off. So I'm mostly just worried about just the top half of her. There we go. There we go. If you've got a scan and cut, do all your coloring, stop, pull it out, you know, and then you can do a giant batch of cutting with your scan and cut or fussy cut. Some people love the act of fussy cutting because it's a therapeutic thing. Again, sorry about this. And normally I'm much earlier about being on But my daughter had an earache, so I had to take her into the doctor, and she's got an ear infection from swimming too much. The joys of being a little girl, a young kid in the summer when it's hot and all you want to do is be in the water. And she's, oops, I just cut her finger off. Shh, don't say anything. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our little girl. And then you're just going to decide exactly where do you want to put her. Oh, I'm looking for the overlay. It's right in front of me. Go figure. All right, so where do I want her? I think I don't want to have her as high as I did in this card. So we're going to put her a little lower. There she is, just like that, right? So we're going to place her on first. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and use my adhesive. So we're going to place her a little lower. You know what? So you guys don't even know that I did it to her finger. I'm also going to tilt her, and I'm going to put her finger so you can't even tell that I chopped her finger off. Shh, you'll never know now. It's a hidden factor. All right, now, because I cut this so close to the edge here, you guys see how close the edge is? And for some reason, my screen is very orangey looking, and I don't know why. I can't quite figure that out. Maybe that'll help. There we go. It's very orange. It's very strange. Better. Amazing what happens when you open up. So I am, instead of trying to use my tape runner, I'm going to use my liquid glue again. Whatever liquid glue you like. I like this one because it has a nice, fine tip edge, and I can really get in here and just do a nice little fine line. So I know everybody's got their glue that they love, whatever strikes your fancy, and that is something, and really get around all of the little spaces. If you didn't go so close to the edge like I did, if you put this circle up a little higher, which would totally work because I didn't get anywhere close to the other circles, you could easily get away with popping this up. So it would really have a three-dimensional look to it if you wanted to do that. Because I cut too narrow, I didn't think doing a pop-up, I would want to put a piece down here to pop it up, and I screwed that up when I laid it down. And of course, because I was trying to save some time, which is a great way to mass produce cards, I went through and I cut these both at the same time, so I couldn't fix and go, oh, let me just shift that up a little bit. So that's what it is. All right, so lay that down. Make sure you have all your pieces. And these are all cut to be the same. So the back layer is cut to be the same size as the front layer. And then just take your scissors. And I don't use my fussy cut scissors for this. And then just come in and jump right there. So there it is. And so you can pop her up. You can do whatever character. I thought she looked so cute because she was blowing bubbles. And then we have our little sentiment, which I've already done. I'm just going to give our little fishtail here. So I just did from the same stamp set, from the Togs and Bubbles, which here it is, from the same Togas and Bubbles. So it's got the happy blowing bubbles. It's got lots of really cute things. It's got this little girl right here. Oops, that's really glary. So what brand is that liquid glue? This is a super tight adhesive. This is their dual tip max glue pen. So you have a fine tip on this end, and then you open up on the other end and you have, oops, well, the brush got stuck in there. This is an older one. I never use the brush. I really only ever use this for fine tips, like really small stuff. And most of my supplies are listed down in the information section, so check that out. There's a few others I need to go back and add. Like I need to add the glue. I forgot to do that. I need to add the inks. I need to add in these little guys. These came from scrapbook.com, little blender tools. There's so many fun things. But for all the TLC designs, they're on there, and for most of the other products. But I'll fix it and add all the rest as soon as this video is done. All right, one thing I didn't do on this card, well, let's finish it. We're almost done. Aren't they cute? Truly, if I was going to do this card on my own, without the color inspiration, I would have made it blue. But I'm a blue girl. I probably would have gone in with blues and pinks, but that's okay. I love kind of, that's one thing I like about doing any kind of challenge, is because you get kind of pushed out of your normal color vibe. So I didn't get a chance to put it on here, but I thought I would come in with a few little extra crystals here, so it really looked like little bubbles were flying off and having some fun. So really kind of adding to the bubbles. So I think that's about it. And just sticking within the circles so you can really kind of see. Look, 5 is cute. So I'll add 5 more over here, kind of keeping in the same general locations. I think it worked. So it almost looks like she's blowing bubbles and they're flying away. And man, bubbles can fly. My backyard neighbor, she's got a little girl and they love going out and doing bubbles. And so look how adorable, isn't that cute? Little ink blending, little fun, little splatters. So it's really kind of playing with the bubbles. And so the bubbles they do in their backyard, seriously coming like all over into our bed. I'm like, where is this bubble? And it came from like the opposite direction. It didn't even come from her house. It came from so it like flew up and came around. Bubbles everywhere. Like it literally like she's back there behind my house. And you would think the bubbles would come from this direction. No, the bubble came from the other direction. So I'm going, where is the bubble coming from? And then I see one coming. It was crazy. It's lots of fun. All right, last card. So the peekaboo on this card is the fact that you've kind of got her peekabooing into the circles and you've got these little circles that you've die cut out. Again, you could do stars, you could do hearts, you could really have fun with whatever shape you are cutting out. It's really more of an overlay, but it's still a peekaboo because you've done something behind it. And in this case, it happens to be the ink blending. So it's kind of hiding it behind there. So that's the second peekaboo card. The third peekaboo card, and if you just missed watching, it'll be available on the replay. This is our third peekaboo card. It's super cute. This one, you've got a circle that's been cut out of the front. So when you open it, you still have something on the inside. So this one is really fun too. And where are all my supplies? Here we go. Okay, so I didn't want to pull out the big die cut machine. So let me explain to you what I did. And there we go. This is the circle I've used multiple times. It was the perfect size circle for here. So that's this circle. And so I used it a couple of different times because it was the perfect thing. And this circle die is from this one. Here we go. So the circle die along with, and of course it's the scallops. It's somewhere on my desk. I swear it's here. But the two of them belong to this set. Oh, here it is. Hiding amongst the fodder. So these two dies go along with this set right here. And this is the happy dragonfly circle. That's really bad glare. So it actually fits around here. And there's a little dragonfly that you can put together so you can see them all right there. So what I did is I placed this circle. Well, first I did black cardstock on top of a white card. And then I put a pattern paper, and I went with a really bold pattern paper because there's really not much else going on with the card except for the circle, a sentiment at the bottom, and then you open it up and then you have the thing on the inside. So you really want to have a nice big bold, not a subtle, like go for it. And so these papers also came from, these are all digital papers from TLC Designs. This is the Crafty and Sweet. And here you could see I picked, well, it's one of these ones in here. But it came from this set. So I think I used all of it. Yeah, because I printed off a second one, but isn't that cute? I love that one. Oh, you can see it up here. It's along here. So I placed on the card the black mat, the pattern paper, and then I put the circle and I went into my big die, right? And I made sure I lined it up and went, okay, do I like it? I die cut out. I need to get the rest of the little pieces. I put this after I die cut and went, do I like where it's centered? Is that high enough? Is there enough room for the sentiment at the bottom? So I really did that. And then I ran this through my die cut machine about 2 times because we're cutting through 3 layers of paper. So you really want to make sure. And it did an awesome job. Look at that. Die cut like a champ. Isn't that awesome? So cool. And then if you wanted to save this, you've got 3 really cool circles that you could use for something else. It's got washi tape, but look how cute this little circle is. You could totally go in, pretend this is another card, and use that as a frame for a card. So you kind of get a 2-in-1 card if you wanted to. Since you've actually cut out, well, they're all glued together, but you've got 3 layers. If you wanted to just barely stick them together or not put any glue in the center, so you do all the adhesive everywhere around it, you could pull these apart and you have 3 different circles you could do something fun with. So you can get a little bonus card out of that too, which is really cool. Lots of funness with that. Okay, so now we have this circle right here. So we got to pop out all these little bits. And that came from this scallop piece. So if you're wanting to cut just the circle, you use this. If you're wanting to cut the scallop, you have to put the scallop and the circle together on top of a piece of paper. And then just that's with the washi tape. Then washi tape that. And when you put the 2 together, you get the outside scallop and you get the inside circle cut out. If you just want to get the scallop, but you don't cut the inside circle, you just use this one piece. So these can go together or they can be separate. But since I wanted to create that peekaboo window, the circle here, I had to put them together and they fit perfectly. So, sorry, again, ran out of time. Should have done all this earlier. Just pop them out, no big deal. I need to get one of those tools, the ones that like run back and forth. Now I feel like I have confetti. Look at the confetti. Either that or I have like the bugs. They almost look like little tiny bugs invading my desk. I don't need bugs. I'm good. I'm good being bug free. So now I'm gonna go back to my glue again. I could do my sticker maker, but I already had the glue sitting out on my desk, so that's what we're gonna go with. And I'm just gonna go make sure, oops, that's really coming out fast. I'm just gonna kind of hit around the edges of this and just make sure I go the entire circle, because this is gonna go on the front, just like that. There we go. Just a tiny bit. You don't need a whole lot. And then this is, I go in with my finger and I'll just run it through and really kind of layer it all in. I'm the kind of person that doesn't mind getting a little mucky. Some people are like, oh, no, you just got glue all your fingers. Yuck. I'm like, yeah, it's glue. No big deal. It dries clear. There we go. And then just line that right around. And then you can see it's the perfect match because it's meant to go together, right? Now I got to find my tissue. There we go. Clean my finger off. There we go. And if you just want to wipe it clean, there we go. Paper towels rock. Clean my little confetti pieces off my desk. All right, so next I went through and in the same pattern paper pack, the Digi pack, she also has a matching blue paper. I wanted a lighter pink for this one, so I just pulled cardstock out of my stash. So it washes. It's good. All right, so now I picked these guys. So these are from the Alicorn stamp set. Super, super cute. So look at them. Aren't they adorable? Look at these cutie little alicorns. They're so cute. So I did one of each. So I kind of played around with it and had some fun. And I did have a stamp. I don't know what I did with it. Oops. Well, I guess we'll have to stamp another one, or you'll just get the idea of what it'll finish. I'm thinking I'm going to do a different sentiment for the bottom of this one. And again, sorry guys, I didn't have time to fussy cut this out, but you get the idea. Fussy cut whatever image you want. I wanted a color in the circle and not white. You could do white, but I love the idea that it almost looks like that's from part of the front of the card. And then when you open it, you're like, oh, it's not part of the card. It's actually like on the inside too. So it's your little peekaboo window, which I think is cool. So just quickly cut this out. Again, sorry, I should have done this ahead of time. I swear to God, I thought I was going to have all this extra time when the kids were out of school and we're in summer. I'm not spending because we were all virtual and time is not my friend today. But, granted, I had to take my daughter to the doctor's. And so that kind of threw a wrench in it. Plus, I went to a really, really cool thing. Video is coming soon. Crystal Ninja, she's an amazing lady. And she blings everything out with Swartzy crystals. There we go. So there she is flying there. She did an entire car. So she actually drove the car 5 minutes away from my house, and I got some pictures and some videos, and she's doing a road trip across the United States, and it just happened to be she was right here. She actually works with the same company, Super Tight. She used some of their glue to glue the stones onto the car. So stay tuned for that. That video is coming super soon. All right, adhesive on the back. And this is what I do. So I'm going to line this up right here. It's actually almost a perfect circle. Let's have her like flying across. There we go. So really have her, I'm calling it a her because she's pink, but you can make her whatever she wants. So I don't push too hard. I just kind of line it up. And then once I get her where I want it, where I want the circle, you could do a wet glue for this too. So you just barely put it in and then you just slide it around to where you want it. And then you could put a sentiment on the inside or you could put a sentiment on the outside. I think I'm going to leave, I did stamp one. I had it all ready, but it's hiding somewhere on my desk. But I'm thinking I want to change up what sentiment that I'm using across here. So I'm going to come back and it'll be in the final pictures. You'll see it on my Instagram. So there it is. And also in the thumbnail when it's all done. So here is the third Peekaboo card. Let me go really fast where you just you open it up. It's a little Peekaboo circle that you see on the inside of the card. And then here is this one. Same idea, same thing, right? Second card we did today was with the blending of the circles. So here, these ones are really, really cute. So the Peekaboo is the fact that we actually did the blending and then overlaid this on top. And then the third one is circles. And then you have with stuff stuck to it. The little peekaboo on the heart. So you have this really, really cute little space. And then you're using the heart that you punched out as overlays on different parts of the card. So again, playing around with circles, using the peekaboo concept, and making really cute cards. I mean, that's kind of the point of it. So thank you guys so much for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to list them down there. I will do my best to go back and answer them and find them. If you're watching from Facebook on Erin Reed Makes or from TLC Designs, thank you guys so much. Please don't forget to follow the other person. Would love that. If you're watching from the other side, if you're watching from YouTube, I'm on Erin Reed Makes YouTube. Love for you guys to follow, like, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Links are all down in the information section, so don't forget to check those out. And I will see you guys again next week for another Card Making Wednesday. So more techniques, tips, and tricks always coming every week. And don't forget to stay safe and just create. Bye, everybody.